Also, what do you think is the ceiling for Swerve singles wise? I've been so impressed with him. I can't help but feel he could go all the way.
You asking me?
If you want to take it first,
Um, I think he could be a top star in the company.
he
I think he'd be a
has.
cop, but like, there's a lot of people that I think that about. It depends on like right time, right place, right push. In luck with injuries. So I mean, so like that's the good thing when it comes to like some of the better promotions we have right now is like they're loaded with talent who are like somebody falls, someone's going to make the most of the opportunities, and it's not necessarily like a thing where it's like um you might suck for because you might be your favorite that might be unfortunate is their turn and they go down or whatever else. But like as far as like um the flow of talent and people like ready to meet the challenge, I feel like there's a lot of people overqualified in AEW to be in a top in a marquee match, if you will, a money match, if you will.
I,
Um,
I think
it's worth one of them.
I think his ceiling is the world champion. And I say that because he is just knowing what I know about him. Knows a lot about wrestling. Very well liked. Like behind the scenes, which actually means a lot as far as people pushing
It
you
do.
and stuff.
It do.
Very driven to prove people wrong and what people think he can't, what he cannot do. Obviously, we know the wrestling's there. I think as far as the character translation stuff. If he hits on the right storyline, the right opponent, he's a compelling guy to face other people. I think he will continue to I think the last like 3 months for him has really opened a lot of eyes on him that might not necessarily have seen him in that light while he was in WWE. They may have just seen him, kind of doing his thing, but never really considered him like that. But now, through that great tag team rivalry, including winning it, how he's kind of conducting himself, like making these connections in and out of wrestling, like and he's someone that you can kind of let represent the company in a lot of different areas that other people can't touch. So I think,
Yeah. And
obviously,
also, like, another thing that's very underrated is like he has yet to ever show me that he will embarrass you if you put him out front. And there are a lot of guys that are a lot of acts that were just like, oh, they're eventually going to do something knuckleheaded. Not to say this in the world, not to say that like whatever little bit of knucklehead is something you could just easily just move over, but like I've heard of Swerve. Well, I heard of him as his character when he was in Lucha Underground. We saw him WrestleMania weekend with Saber, and then like ever since then, like it's just been like I've been impressed with him. Always impressed with him, and then you fucking became friends with him randomly.
What
Right?
a world,
Right?
right?
Right. And then like as I'm watching him on TV, I'm just like he's impressive. He's impressive. He really is. And like the the hit row thing was impressive. And like even like the small matches he had with like some of the top guys in NXT at the time, like whether it was with Cole or whether it was with Gargano or with Roddy, it was like it was short, but like you could see it. It's like if NXT was NXT of like 2 years before then, like he would have been a person that would have been on those takeovers, having 4.5-star matches, having programs with that type of cream of the crop. And now that that NXT is no longer in existence anymore, like he's here now, and now he's doing it from the perspective of the tag thing, and like we're off to the races now with him and Keith Lee.
TK got one with him. Like there are people like that, like obviously like as far as the imports, and you look at Swerve's age and you look at his ability, like this is a real diamond in the rough. He's the one they were waiting for. And I'll just leave it at that.
I remember this was like the end of 2019, and they had put NXTers in Brooklyn for SmackDown taping, I think. And Swerve got a match, and Keith Lee had a tag match, and I think Dijak was on the other side of it. remember watching just because it was, two people that I liked. It was on the thing. I was like, and I was watching WWE at the time, whatever else. So, actually, it was a year-end show. It was like it was a house show, and they put like the year-end thing. They put matches that were like dark matches on the NXT year-end show. So I'm watching it, and he's in Brooklyn. They're not really reacting to him, and then he does like the arm break spot, and I was like, and it got the crowd, and I was like, he knows how to wake people up that are not paying attention to him or whatever else, and I was like, I'll keep that noted. And he seemingly has this kind of stuff figured out as far as like what to do in certain situations. It doesn't really seem like, obviously, all these kind of matches are really intricate. There's obviously conversation, whatever else, but like when he's kind of on his own, you can kind of see like he's taking his time and kind of like figuring out like what's next to get the crowd and then to get to where he wants to get.
So up next from